sun is shining 24/7. 'Cause when we're together, it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark, you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on you. Ooh, you catch me like a leaf falling from a tree. If I'll be a shooting star, you make a wish. No, I don't fake this kind of feeling, never felt so real. My heart is on the table 'cause you're my everything. I do, I wanna marry you. 'Cause when you're around, I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good, so good. Every single day we spend apart, I wanna be with you. Baby, take my hand, hold it tight just like you do. Feels so good, so good.
All right, hey, it's Tony and Jamie with This Is How We Met podcast, and thank you guys so much for joining us today. Right now, we are with Gae Callaway and Roger Harlow. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. We've actually been talking a lot already, so we kind of know their story, but we want to make sure that everybody that listens to our show also gets to enjoy the great story that they both told us. So basically, Gae, I guess, again, let us know I know you're in insurance and Legal Shield. Tell us a little bit about that so people can know what you do.
Well, in the past, probably, Tony, longer than you are old, I am in the insurance business, and I started with MetLife and in 1976 and came to Texas in 87. So I've done probably all levels of insurance you could do. Now I try to do just mostly life insurance and annuities, but mostly now I do Legal Shield. And the areas I love to work in are working with small business and the employee benefits for small business, which is in Legal Shield, not necessarily still in insurance. So that's what I do. And Roger, he does.
I'm a retired mechanical engineer. I have worked for chemical plants here in Corpus Christi and engineering companies in Denver and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Retired. I have some hobbies that you may find interesting.
Yeah, let us know about the boats. You mentioned that before.
Yeah, okay. Probably number one hobby for a while has been designing and building and sailing in small boats, usually sailboats. I don't like motors, so I either row it or I sail it. And I go to meetings. In fact, I went to one past Friday in Rockport. There were a bunch of guys that bring their boats. They've built them all. And they were going out for a 3-day sail and camp out. And I just wanted to see the boats, so I didn't have a boat to go with them operating right now. Anyway, it's if you've heard of the children's novel called The Wind in the Willows.
Oh yeah.
In one part of the book, one episode, Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole were rowing down the Thames River. And Mr. Mole says, there is nothing worth doing as simply messing about in boats. Nothing worth half so much doing as simply messing about in boats. Well, the phrase messing about was taken for a title up in New England of a magazine about boats. It's called Messing About in Boats is the name of the magazine.
Oh.
And once in a while you see a guy with a T-shirt that has that little paragraph on his T-shirt.
So now we know you really
how we'll
are
know.
into boats.
And that's what he goes on, messing abouts.
Well, in Australia, they have walkabouts in the small wooden plywood homemade boats. It's called messing about. It's also
I did not know this.
It's It's just messing around, just not racing, not making any number of miles per day. If you paddle along and see an interesting creek, you head up the creek to see where it goes. You might pick up an empty turtle shell or something like that for a souvenir, and then you paddle back out. And with small sails, small boats are slow, but they sail. It saves paddling. And I like just being on the water and just bouncing around with small waves. I am not a person to cross an ocean. I like to have scenery on a shore to look at.
That
But
sounds
anyway,
like a lot of fun.
And then
too
the
much detail.
and then the Texas 200 that they do around
Well,
here.
once in June, once a year in June, there's a group up to probably anywhere from 30 to 50 or 60 guys. Well, they meet at near Port Lavaca. First of all, they drive their car and pull their boat down to near Burnsville. They launch the boat, somebody stays with the boats, and they all drive up to near Port Lavaca. Then they get on a bus and go back down to Brownsville, get on their boat, and sail up. It's about 200 miles, and they're running with the wind, so it's not a lot of tacking. And it takes about 5 days, 5 nights, 6 days, something like that.
Now that sounds like
And
a blast. Gae, do you normally tag along with him on those?
Not on those.
Yeah, a
No.
lot of times, but not always.
I love to go see when they come in. They used to come into Corpus some, and they would be, yellow and bright, and really bright colored boats coming in all the time. It was really beautiful to see.
They come up the Intercoastal Canal past Port Aransas,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably about the only town they go near until they get up to the top. But they have several places where they pull up and camp out overnight.
Oh, that's like a really fun hobby.
That's what keeps him busy in retirement.
Gotcha. And then as far as you guys meeting, you told me earlier that you guys met in '87 at a square dance. So tell us again how he approached you.
Well, I always like to say how we got here, because he moved from Colorado about May and June, and I moved from Missouri to manage a MetLife office in June, and we met square dancing, and I was getting into my car, and I guess maybe we had danced some in there, and he was hollering at me from the doorway to wait a minute, and so, I guess he was wanting to ask me out, and I was wanting to hire him as an agent, because that's what I did to do, was build an agency. So anyway, that was our first interest, and then I think he asked me for a date, and that's kind of when it started.
That's great. And then I know we when you guys met, when he hollered at you,
I didn't really holler. I just sort of spoke up.
Spoke
I
up.
only want to say I heard him, let's say.
Loudly.
You would have ran if I'd hollered.
That's funny. Roger, when you approached her, obviously something caught your eye about her. What exactly was it?
In previous to our meeting, when I still lived in Denver, I kind of had the feeling that I would meet the right woman to be my wife, and it would be back in Texas. I grew up in Corpus, but I lived in Denver 15 years. And that she would be small in size and brunette and able to put up with my corny jokes, even when they're raunchy, and my weird ideas about religion and the life hereafter. And she would be a great cook. So 5 out of 6 ain't bad.
So the give up he had to do, but as he was telling you previously, had really decided maybe after 50 he should quit motorcycle riding. But anyway, that was one of the deals. I didn't want to be involved anymore again with someone that was hurt really bad in a motorcycle accident. So that was part of my deal, was no motorcycles. So he's always said, if you see him on a motorcycle, I'm either, well, he says I've left, but I always say it means I'm dead. And now he can have his motorcycle.
That's crazy. So, and then as
But by
far
that
as
time, I'll need a three-wheeler by that time.
I love those.
as far as your courtship days, now it took y'all, from what you had said to us previously, that it took her 3 weeks to answer your question about getting married. And Gae, you were saying, I guess, tell us what was going through your head to have it take so long.
Well, in the first place, I'd really said I'd been divorced 7 years and he had been divorced 10 years. But I'd always said I'd never get married again. I really thought that that's the way I would be. But at some point, because I was seeing, we saw each other exclusively for a while and then we didn't for a while, and we're seeing that sort of thing. But as I was seeing other people, I thought, Gae, do you want to continue? Okay, I'll see one person about for a year, and then the next year somebody else, and then the next year. And I don't mean intimate, but I mean just dating somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way you want to spend your life? Just never, always somebody different. And I realized that the other people I was seeing did not share the same values that I did. I knew that one was kind of stingy, although he had a lot of money. And I was sure that the other one really didn't have my same value. And Roger's really a good person. He has good values, good moral values, and I appreciated that. And I guess that's really, all this time I thought I'd never do it again, but somehow in the beginning of 90, I just decided that maybe that wasn't so. And I guess it did, after he asked me, I guess I still had to think about it. He had to remind me I've waited 3 weeks. I didn't remember that. But I will say, sharing the same values is really important. And I definitely, while, being single, I was happy. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with being single. I mean, if you're happy single, it's a whole lot better than being miserable married,
Yes.
But that wasn't the way I was brought up. Just like he was brought up, you don't get a divorce. I mean, that's just, you don't do that. But when I decided that I never looked back. I'm surprised I didn't, how I was raised. But, for me, it was the right thing to do. And I was single, as I said, for 7 years. But it was really values and making a decision. Of course, he had to ask me then, even though I made the decision. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it took the right person. That was the difference.
I was 50 years old when we got married, and I had no thought of ever seeing a silver anniversary. But we did. And
now, why would you think that?
My first marriage was 12 years, had 2 children. My second marriage was less than 1 year. And so that's not a good history to rely on.
And I will say, he made me feel like our 25th anniversary, I'm going to cry, was really special.
Oh, why was that? What was so special about it?
Well, like you said, he really didn't think he would ever make that. And he just showed that he was.
Okay, yeah, one thing I did at that time at our church after service, they have coffee in the community room, I guess you call it. And if anyone wants to make an announcement, there's a little bell. You ring the bell on the wall. Get everybody's attention. So I went up, rang the bell, and I called Gae up beside me, and I had 3 sheets of paper, and I started reading a poem that I had written about my life, and at the end about Gae's part of my life. So that was kind of our celebration for 25 years.
That's awesome.
I just have my eyes teary. That's sweet.
For
Yeah.
our 30th anniversary, which was last year, I had been visiting a friend of mine I used to work with. He lives up in near Fargo, North Dakota. And I was up there a couple of days, and we went through the museum and an antique store, and I found a plate for the exorbitant price of $1. Big platter that said 30, and it's the pearl. You know, the pearl is the 30th. It had a pearl design with blue trim, and it said 30th anniversary. So that's hanging in our kitchen now.
Aw. I love that.
I'm gonna make her cry yet.
I know she's crying already. But that's really awesome.
That's touching.
Yeah,
But as far as the cooking, he missed out on that. My mother's a great cook. I don't cook. So.
Well, I didn't miss out because I weigh 165, and that's what I've weighed for 40 years.
That's great.
So a lot of old guys can't say that.
No, they can't.
There's a blessing in everything. Thanks for that.
See that? Silver lining.
That's great. Well,
outside of all that, it's been pretty ordinary, I guess.
Yeah.
Ordinary sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been together 30-something years. That's just unheard of nowadays for a lot of people.
Well, I know that's why I thought I would never see a silver anniversary.
And
okay, I mean, I like being married to Gae, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for your story. I mean, we really appreciate you guys being here with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for asking me, Tony.
And I forgot to add the comment about motorcycles. Gae asked me if I was ready to give up riding motorcycles, and I asked her, well, is it okay if I get goosebumps when I hear Patsy Cline?
Right.
So I knew we had a chance.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much again. Again, we're here with Gae Callaway and hubby Roger Harlow, together 33 years now. And we really appreciate your story.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
When I wake up in the morning and I see your face, I'm becoming blind by your dazzling grace. What a beautiful feeling to be close to you. There's nothing else I wanna do. Ooh, from the fields of flowers you chose to pick me. You're spreading sugar on my misery, and I don't fake this kind of feeling, never felt so real. My heart is on the table 'cause you're my everything. I do. I wanna marry you. 'Cause when you're around, I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good, so good. Every single day was spent apart. I wanna be with you. Baby, take my hand, hold it tight, just like you do. Feels so good, so good. And I do, I wanna marry you. 'Cause when you're around, I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good.